Three big stories up front. Nvidia AI servers get 15% price hike. Flaw decodes secret LLM reasoning blobs. Humanoid robot plays autonomous pro tennis. We have all 29 stories today, so let's get into the details. Nvidia is hiking prices on upcoming GB300 and Vera Rubin 200 server systems by 15% to 17% early next year. Why? Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron are running out of server GNM and HBM capacity. For a massive 1 gigawatt AI data center, this single price bump tacks on an extra $5 billion to the bill. Nvidia is scrambling to diversify memory configs and invest in data center power grids to cushion the blow. Building AI infrastructure was already expensive. Now memory makers want their ransom. While hardware costs surge, proprietary AP is just leaked. Security researchers uncovered a structural flaw in encrypted reasoning blobs from OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google. These encrypted tokens keep API calls stateless, but without strict model binding, attackers can capture a flagship model's encrypted thoughts and feed them to a cheaper sibling model in the same family. The lightweight model happily decrypts and parrots the entire hidden chain of thought in plain text, opening the floodgates for effortless model distillation. Labs spent millions hiding reasoning just for cheap models to read it aloud. Humanoid robots are moving from factory floors to the tennis court. At the 2026 World Humanoid Robot Games, Galbot played fully autonomous singles and mixed doubles matches against a world champion. Running on its unified AstroBrain model, which blends strategic planning with dynamic whole-body motor control, the bot executed forehands, backhands, diving saves, and autonomously stood back up after falling. Reacting to high-speed balls in milliseconds puts embodied AI straight into continuous dynamic physical combat. Robots might replace your tennis coach before taking your software job. Back in pure compute land, DeepSeek just rewrote the weekend playbook. Starting August 23rd, Saturday and Sunday API calls will run entirely on off-peak rates, dropping prices by up to 50% all weekend long. That is a massive break for teams running heavy batch processing and long-horizon agent loops. Developers are already debating whether to reschedule compute-heavy pipelines and their own weekend work hours to catch the discount. DeepSeek just gave you a financial excuse to ruin your weekend. Next up, some notable shifts across the industry. Anonymous OpenRouter model Ox Alpha is virtually confirmed as Zhipu's GLM 5.x, sharing exact tokenizer pricing quirks and video budgets. It hit up to 63% on DeepSeek coding benchmarks, putting it neck and neck with Claude Opus 4.8. Stealth benchmarks fool nobody anymore. Princeton researchers burned over 700,000 TPU hours to open-source I1, a 3 billion parameter text-to-image model. By optimizing adapter scaling and caption mixes, it beats open baselines by 29.5% on Genival, while delivering top-tier text rendering without the proprietary black box. VBot unveiled a TOM, a 1.6-meter humanoid powered by its embodied genome architecture. Using adaptive transfer, ATEM directly inherited over 20,000 kilometers of real-world navigation data collected from quadruped robot dogs. Who knew dog data translates to walking humans? Symbiotic Intelligence skipped the traditional split-brain cerebellum approach, releasing an end-to-end model that outputs 29 joint states directly. Their bipedal robot coordinated eyes, hands, and feet to autonomously drive a go-kart through high-speed turns with multi-contact balance. Axiom Math's multi-agent system, Axiom Prover, just formally verified the landmark 246 theorem in number theory. It generated 132 pages of Lean-4 code, auto-filling mathematical reasoning gaps without human hand-holding. Math proofs might finally survive peer review. Now let's turn to new tools worth trying. Vercel teamed up with Aura to launch Isagenic, a free tool running 118 automated checks to grade how easily AI agents can browse your website. It flags missing semantics, exposes payment blockers, and exports instant fix prompts for coding agents. Hugging Face shipped diffusers 0.400, graduating modular diffusers to stable while adding native support for models like LTX 2.5, Minimax H3, and WAN Animate 2. New quantization backends like SDNQ and Nunchaku Lite mean high-res local generation might not melt your GPU anymore. Nvidia published a production playbook for NeMo guardrails targeting financial AI. It stacks deterministic PII masking, retrieval filtering, and dynamic policy interception directly over privileged tool calls, because letting autonomous financial agents run wild is an audit nightmare waiting to happen. Document Parsing Engine Deep Doctection 1.2 hit release with DocLayNet layout parsing, table transformer, and DocTR OCR baked in. It restores reading order, links charts properly, and turns chaotic PDFs into clean, standardized JSON-L chunks ready for your RAG pipeline. The community open-sourced GPT Image 2, treating prompt engineering as code with over 500 reverse-engineered visual templates. Packaged as an agent skill for Claude Code and Codex, it swaps stochastic guessing for structured schemas to batch-generate consistent UI and branding assets. Moving on to what's new on the research side. Google unveiled NVHarness, a scaffolding framework that dynamically reshapes training environments to boost reinforcement learning efficiency for autonomous agents. HKU and Kuaishou launched Playworld, benchmarking world models across 60-second interactive gameplay to test physical fidelity and spatial consistency. Princeton and UW researchers found AI cuts paper drafting time so drastically that scientists now churn out shallow studies instead of doing deep research. MIT's CSAL revealed that at hyperscale, removing any single image or artist from diffusion training datasets causes near-zero change in model outputs. Anthropic published over 8 hours of technical sessions from its San Francisco conference on YouTube for free, detailing Claude Code and managed agents. Next up, the business moves. Gamgee, the startup that famously designed a custom canine cancer messenger vaccine using multiple LLMs, raised a $4 million seed round led by Founders Fund. They are industrializing personalized mRNAs of one medicine with Australian research partners. Not bad for a dog project. Over a dozen top professors from HKU, HKUST, and CUHK are launching embodied AI startups across robotics, tactile hands, and autonomous driving. Backed by local government funding and Greater Bay Area manufacturing, these spinouts have already pulled in hundreds of millions in venture capital. Facing trillion-dollar data center capex demands, Nvidia and Broadcom are teaming up with private credit giants like Blackstone and KKR. They are setting up $500 billion special-purpose vehicles to finance off-balance sheet compute and lock in chip allocations for years. Now let's turn to what the community's been talking about. Anthropic calmed stealth downgrade rumors after Claude Code shifted its high thinking budget from 40 to 10, clarifying it was merely a scale recalibration. OpenRouter data reveals AI agents skyrocketed token usage 14-fold to 7.3 trillion, completely outpacing human consumption through autonomous retries and tooling. Developers warn that top agent models suffer from harness overfitting, crashing when moved outside their bespoke runtime frameworks. Anthropic economists report AI has not yet spiked U.S. unemployment, though value is rapidly shifting from raw coding to high-level system architecture. And finally, a few more stories worth mentioning. In a San Francisco retail trial, a Claude-powered AI store manager officially recommended firing an employee for chronic unexcused absences and fund misuse. Harvard Business School integrated HeyGen AI professor avatars into its $699 startup program to deliver on-demand pitch practice and feedback. A new survey reveals 80% of developers rely on AI coding tools, with verification debt driving widespread fatigue. That's all 29 stories for today. We publish a new briefing every day, so hit follow and you won't miss one. This has been Rebabel. See you tomorrow.